Eddie couldn't sleep. He didn't even go back to his hotel room. He almost collapsed into sleep in an alleyway, but... Looking at the bank, he saw a crowd surrounding the scene. He looked down at his ring and pressed it twice. T-Bone goes into the bank through an open back entrance. Someone had just used it to get in or out. He sneaks in to see a group of robbers dressed in very similar uniforms, and one woman seemingly leading the charge, who immediately looks to the supervillain.
T-Bone.
Hey, do you guys need help? I see the tied up civilians. Doing a great job of making this seem real, by the way.
Why, thank you. The more the merrier. My name is Hindsight, and it's a pleasure to meet you.
She shakes his hand, giving some sort of look to her accomplices that T-Bone can't quite read well enough. It isn't long before Dairyman shows up, rushing through the doors.
Stop right there. Wait, T-Bone?
Well. Seems like you've met my newest friends, huh?
Dairyman, despite his confusion, notices Hindsight, who's leading the operation, and he rushes towards her instead of his usual combatant. But she quickly dodges each hit he aims at her, her eyes having a light glow that flickered. After his attacks are avoided, she quickly takes the opportunity offered by the mist to whack him in the back of the shoulder with the rifle she was holding. As Dairyman goes to attack again, he suddenly gets pulled back by a hook made of meat.
Hey, you're supposed to be fighting me.
No, wait, you don't understand.
But it's too late because suddenly, a barrage of hits to T-Bone's head knocks him out cold. Eddie woke up to the feeling of ice on the back of his head. He stirred awake to find he was on a couch, and turned around to see he was in Kelly's apartment. It wasn't ice, but Kira's hand, who was using her magic to help him.
You okay, meathead?
I think you got a nasty concussion. They hit you several times in the back of the head.
What happened?
They wanted to use you as a scapegoat. Max is out there now trying to find them.
So what if you lost? That happens sometimes. Sometimes villains win, you know?
Eddie, these weren't SHGO villains. These actual criminals stole money from the bank and then kidnapped the hostages. And you helped them do it.
He instantly gets up, ready to fight, but his head ached immediately. So Kira helps him back to the couch.
You need rest.
No luck. I don't know where they could be. Eddie, oh thank goodness. Are you okay?
Yeah, sorry for being a nuisance back there. I didn't realize...
Eddie, you were being manipulated. I'm not going to blame you.
I mean, you could stand to be a little less reckless.
Don't worry about it. I can save them.
You deserve a break. You look exhausted. Let me take care of this.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I need the experience anyway.
Gadley has a possible location.
Tell them I got it covered.
You'll need backup. I'll help.
Are you sure? You're really only here to help us with Emberly.
I'm here to help my friends. I can't sit by when I can help.
Okay then. Let's get going.
They've got this covered.
Yeah, they got it.
Hey, where did Kelly and Kira go?
Kelly had work and Kira went to go help her with it.
Tera? What are you doing here?
Oh, Max convinced Kelly to let me stay with her.
That's... great. Ow.
You need rest.
I'll be fine, nurse. I'm going to head back to my hotel room to heal this up. This should be gone in an hour or two, right?
Hopefully.
Kelly and Kira sneak through a warehouse in costume. They hear murmurs coming from who they assume are Hindsight and her gang.
If you behave, you make it out of here alive. So, you're going to listen to my demands.
I'll give you whatever you want. I have goods, jewels. You can have all my valuables.
Valuables? Do you mean these? Hate to break it to you, They're forgeries. Fakes. What can you believe?
Please, just let us go. It's not what supervillains usually do.
Do you think I care what other supervillains do? Like I said, what can you believe?
Please don't hurt me.
Kira is ready to charge at that, but Kelly holds her back.
I don't plan to hurt you if you don't move a muscle against us. Heck, it ruins our plans. But you're valuable. And you'll be the voice of our little message. Got it?
We need to save them. Any ideas?
As Hindsight puts the tape back onto the hostage and shoves them toward the rest, she heads to a few boxes in the corner to start counting supplies.
I'll sneak over to the hostages to save them. Do you think you can distract her?
I can manage.
They both split and head off in different directions. Kelly goes behind the boxes to try and reach the hostages, while Kira goes towards Hindsight herself. Kira's armor makes a bit of noise, but no one else hears it.
Hey, you!
At the loud noise, all the cronies point their guns toward the hostages. Meanwhile, Hindsight looks at the intruder. Both Kelly and Kira freeze.
Not so fast.
T-Bone, you're here to stop us?
Nah, I'm just here to get back at you for using me. That's all.
Ha! Now that makes more sense. You SHGO villains are all alike. Whatever is going to fill your fragile little egos the best. It's amusing, really. Do you think that—
Shut up and fight me!
Kira awkwardly sneaks to where Kelly is, trying to figure out how to handle this. But this time, Hindsight does hear the jingle of her armor.
Less blah blah, more fighting.
Let me deal with the other intruders first.
She kicks the boxes near where she hears the sound, and the packages come crashing down around Kelly and Kira. Kelly acts quickly and grows to 15 feet to get the boxes off of her and Kira, but she gives away their location, and all the guns turn to them.
I can't believe it! You almost got the drop on me. Almost.
Let them go.
That's not how a hostage situation works. Ooh. Now who are you? You don't seem familiar. I heard about the giant, but an ice knight? That's new.
Eddie goes to hit her with a huge meat hammer, but Hindsight dodges and grabs for it. As she takes the hammer in hand, she uses it to strike him instead. Kelly takes this time to rush toward the hostages, but the cronies instantly fire at her. Kelly gets nervous, but the bullets harmlessly bounce off her.
Noise!
But this is noticed by Hindsight, who uses T-Bone's meat hammer to strike Kelly in the shins, causing her to topple forward.
Get the hostages to the van. I can handle them.
No!
Kelly gets up and goes to stop this, but Hindsight uses the hammer to hit Kelly on the back, causing her to crash down. Hindsight is instantly swarmed by Kira and an unarmed Eddie, the latter of which is just trying to throw punches. Kira almost hits, but Hindsight dodges and hits with the hammer, knocking her to the boxes. When Eddie moves to hit her, he grabs the hammer, trying to pull it out of her hands, but she kicks his leg, causing him to fall to the ground instead.
Oh, did you want the hammer? You can have it. I have places to be. Hopefully, I'll see you all later.
With that, she leaves the three alone.
What the hell, T-Bone?
As soon as his movement comes back, Eddie heads in the direction of the truck Hindsight and her goons are driving.
Ugh, I'll get him. Can you get Dairyman? We might need his help after all.
On it.
Eddie finds no sign of the van. Not ready to give up, he runs into the alleyway to try and climb the fire escape to the rooftops. But as he gets to the stairs, he feels funny, noticing everything around him getting more expansive. He looks behind him to see a pair of sneakers, and up to see Kelly smirking. She shrunk him.
Like my new ability?
Come on, I almost had her.
Yeah, right.
Kelly picks up the tiny Eddie.
You only endangered the mission more. So, now it's time to go.
Kira finds Max with Tera when she requests his location, which he gladly gives her.
There you guys are.
Kira, is everything alright?
Kelly and I lost them, thanks to Eddie.
Wait, Eddie went with you? Sorry, that was on me. I was on Eddie duty.
We could use help from both of you.
Well, I don't know. I'm sorry.
She doesn't want to let people know who she is.
I know you may be skeptical, but I don't believe you have anything to worry about.
Fine. If you both trust her,
Well, I wouldn't say that, but...
She can be trusted.
then I don't see a reason not to.
Meanwhile, as Kelly returns to her apartment, she quickly puts Eddie on the ground, still tiny.
Now, if I let you grow back to average size, you have to calm down.
She doesn't get a verbal answer, but she does get a nod, so she turns him back.
Thank you very much.
He immediately runs for it, but Kelly grabs him by his shirt before he gets far.
Hey, it was worth a shot, right?
Why do you have to be so damn stubborn? Can't you just let your pride go?
No, I can't. I'm a supervillain. It's what I do, and you don't seem to get that.
Oh, come on. Can't you give up something as meaningless as your ego for a friend?
A friend. Is that what I am to you? Really?
Maybe if you acted like one, you would be.
Seriously? Not acting like a friend? You've been nothing but cold to me this entire time, and I've done nothing but try and help you.
No, I haven't.
Oh yeah? You told me I couldn't stay, but you let a total stranger in. And I've seen your eyes roll when I mentioned supervillainy. You think my profession is a joke, don't you?
No, I don't. It's just,
What is it? Why have you been so cold?
I'm mad you took my best friend from me.
You thought I took him from you?
He's your best friend now, not mine. But he was my only friend for the longest time.
Well, you never reached out.
He wasn't mine anymore.
That's ridiculous. When you care about someone as much as you do, you reach out. Max was excited to stay in Queen Beach City with you, and how he described you made me want to be your friend too.
I'm sorry. I don't think you're a friend thief or anything. It's just... that was the only way I could think to explain my frustration.
I'm not going to judge you for pent-up resentment, especially when you're beating yourself up over it. You can't help how you feel, just how you act on it.
Still, I'm sorry. I didn't realize I was hurting you.
It's okay. I suppose I should apologize for being reckless and jeopardizing your mission. It's just...
It's just what?
Went to karaoke with Emberly last night. She asked me to join her side. I didn't give her an answer.
I saw how you defended her.
I'm not going to help her. I can see how much these powers mean to you, and I can't bring myself to take that from you.
Thanks. I don't deserve it, but thanks.
Kelly rushes to a little cabinet in her kitchen and opens a drawer.
Can I ask your opinion, since you're a villain and all?
Shoot.
Kelly pulls out what appear to be paintings, but they're each about the size of a coaster. They look as if they're in pristine condition.
Spencer and I had spent last night at an art gallery, and once I was the only person left, I couldn't help but look at the paintings. It felt so easy to take them for myself, and I just did it.
You became a supervillain?
I don't know. Because now that I have them, I don't know what to do with them. What even is the protocol for this?
Usually the Shigo will give you money if you give it to them to return it to its rightful place. They say the hero got it back, but in reality the villain gets a bonus to their paycheck to make the heroes look like they still won. But if you know the right people, there are ways to make even more money from them. Black market stuff.
Makes sense. But I haven't fully committed to being a hero or villain yet.
Alright, how about this? You let me help you with Hindsight, and I'll take care of the black market stuff for free. Give you all the money.
It's a deal.
Okay, Kelly, I brought reinforcements.
No need. I think Eddie and I have this taken care of. Tera?
Well, Funny story.
I'm a superhero too.
Okay, cool. We can unpack that later, but Eddie and I must get going.
What happened while I was gone?
It didn't take Kelly and Eddie long to find out where Hindsight and her crew hid. They had already released their ransom note to the mayor, but the two friends had made it to the site before any cops could show. Kelly shrinks herself and Eddie to sneak through the small back door hole.
We need to hold out long enough to get their attention. The crypt needs to know what we're up to. If we can get the syndicate's attention, even better.
Remember, we must catch her by surprise to avoid her powers. Whatever level of insight she has to be able to predict our moves means we have to be entirely unpredictable.
Or, better yet, you can use your new shrinking powers on them.
It took a lot of effort to do it to one person, let alone a bunch of armed goons.
You go hide, I'll distract her.
I have no guarantee that this will work.
Sounds fun.
Okay, let's do this, meathead.
That nickname isn't gonna stick, is it?
There's no escaping it.
T-Bone quickly rushes into the fray to be a distraction, forming his meat weapon into a shield. When he gets close enough, Kelly changes him back to average height.
Hey, over here!
The goons quickly turn to him and unload their weapons, but T-Bone is quick enough to pull up his shield to block their fire.
T-Bone, you never learn, do you?
T-Bone responds in silence, tossing his shield at her like a frisbee, colliding with her chest and sending her crashing against the wall.
Hey, dumbstick! I realized something. You can't dodge my attack if you don't see it coming.
You kept your loud mouth shut for once. How was I supposed to expect that? But it doesn't matter. You're outnumbered.
It's at that point that Kelly finishes concentrating and shrinks all of Hindsight's goons to the size of dolls.
Am I?
They all panic and run in random directions, away from the fight, unaware of how to react. Kelly has to take deep breaths from her hiding spot, but then starts to try and concentrate on doing the same thing to Hindsight. But the fight continues quickly as Hindsight rushes at him. Eddie goes to block with his meat shield, but she still manages to go around, hitting him in the side. Eddie tries to hit her with the shield, which she barely dodges.
You're still too slow.
She hits him in the back of the leg, causing him to fall to the ground. She quickly gets her boot to his chest.
It's pathetic. You're no real villain. You're just a puppet for them. A cog in their little machine. You can't fight. You can't do what is necessary. All you can do is look pretty while being defeated. But at least you're good at something, right?
Now!
Hindsight suddenly is on alert, realizing something is up and quickly determining where Eddie is looking for help and where the shrinking source must be coming from. Kelly is still small, hiding and concentrating on the woman on top of her friend, ready to shrink her. Eddie sees her noticing, grabs onto Hindsight's leg, and faces no resistance from her as he knocks her back to the ground and gets on top of her. He thinks he has an advantage for a second until he sees her smirk. Suddenly he finds himself shrinking from his position and landing on Hindsight. She wastes no time picking him up and bringing him to her face while getting up and brushing herself off.
Your friend's powers are unstable. She can't help you now.
Eddie tosses a shield at her face silently as he did to her earlier, which isn't dodged as it hits her right in the nose. She drops him, and Eddie catches onto her pant leg and then jumps down to the floor, planning on gaining some distance from her. But before he could, his giant, infuriated opponent puts her foot over him and pins him to the floor, adding pressure.
Enough games. Fools like you are better off dead. Any last words?
Hindsight feels a big hand grip the back of her shirt, instantly realizing she was so mad at T-Bone she ignored the size shifter.
How about get off my friend?
The now huge Kelly pulls her back with all her might, causing Hindsight to crash into the nearby wall. The hard impact leaves her nearly unconscious on the ground, but after a few moments, Hindsight gets up anyway. Luckily, a few moments were enough for Kelly to concentrate. And as Hindsight gets up, ready to fight, she finds herself shrinking to the same size Eddie is. It takes Kelly no time to put her boot on top of her in a similar fashion to what she did to Eddie.
You're not going anywhere.
The officers ensure that Hindsight and her cronies, back to their standard height but in cuffs, are taken away into police trucks. And Kelly suddenly sees Jean Gadley walk up to her.
I see you decided to be a hero.
Actually, I don't think I have decided yet.
I won't rush your decision, and if you don't want to make it, that's also valid.
Thank you.
Can you take on a personal favor for me?
Sure. What is it?
A vigilante has been seen recently in the city. Her name is Gigagirl. If you could, I'd like it if you could bring her into the SHGO by whatever means necessary.
Isn't it illegal to be superheroing without being signed up?
It is. That's why we need her.
I'm on it.
Miss Gadley nods and walks back to their car. Kelly rushes into the nearest alleyway and transforms back into her civilian attire. She pulls Eddie out of his hiding spot.
I don't think anyone saw you being a hero.
Whew, thank goodness.
Seriously, though. Thank you. You're a good friend.
Hey, it's what friends do.
She puts him down on the ground to bring him back to average size.
However, we should probably explain this to the others.
I'll take care of that if you want to handle the black market stuff.
Understood. Sounds like a plan.
Across town, Neo Impulse finds themselves waiting in an abandoned pet store for their new friend. She arrives and overhears their conversation.
It's so cramped in here, and it smells like kitty litter. Are we sure we can't find a better place to meet?
It may not be the best idea for a boy band to be seen discussing shady plans.
I suppose you're right.
Look, I'm not the biggest fan of it either.
Oh, yo. Hey, Emberly.
Hey boys, miss me?
You look a lot better than you did yesterday.
Well, I had ice cream and played some karaoke. So, I had a good time. And I'm even thinking of listening to your music. However, I still can't think of any plans to achieve my ends. The resources I have access to are increasingly limited, but I still appreciate you helping me even after everything that has occurred.
Well, we're all friends.
Friends? Are you sure you want to commit to that?
There's no need to commit, dude. Friendship is so mellow.
I wish it were so. In my experience, friendships are convenient until they aren't. And then they drop off the face of the world. Even your closest confidants will one day turn their backs on you.
That doesn't sound like friendship.
I would consider that an alliance of convenience.
Isn't that what we have?
Is that what you want to have?
I'm not so used to loyalty. Well, I am, until that loyalty turns into betrayal.
We're all very grateful for your help, and will not rest until we repay it in kind. If that's friendship, then I think that sounds lovely.
I think that will totally bond, and you'll be like one of the boys.
One of the boys? That's ridiculous. But endearing. I only wish I knew where to start.
Sue her.
Huh?
If she took what's rightfully yours, you could sue her for it.
I don't think that'll hold water in court. The magic isn't a physical item she has ownership over.
I understand none of this. But, I mean, feel free to make suggestions. I'm open to ideas. Let's brainstorm.
Thank you for watching this episode of Star-Marked Queen Beach City. If you like what you just heard, please feel free to like and follow on whatever platform you decided to listen to this podcast on. You can listen to this podcast on Spotify at Starmarked or on YouTube at Maz Presents. You can also find me on Instagram, Blue Sky, and TikTok at Maz Presents. That's M-A-Z Presents. Hope you're marked for the stars. Get it?